Welcome to the news on NT International. I'm Lami Ali. The sign language interpreter is Bamidele John, and we begin with the headlines. 12th World Innovation Summit for Education opens in Qatar. Experts brainstorm on role of humanity in future learning. Nigeria reaches agreements with U.S. on security partnership, pledges commitments to end terrorism. Also on the news, Atiku Abubakar formally joins ADC, vows a stronger position ahead of 2027. We begin with education, as the 12th World Innovation Summit for Education, known as WISE, has officially begun, bringing together thousands of experts to tackle one of the most pressing questions: what is the role of humanity in the future of learning? Garba Nata'ala has details.
I am here at Qatar National Convention Center, and the atmosphere is very vibrant, full of participants. In fact, registration have exceeded 5,000, all converged from various parts of the world to discuss one key issue: how to bridge education and technology using AI. The central theme driving the conversation here is humanity.ai, human values at the heart of education, a concept that challenges the global education community to leverage artificial intelligence, AI, as a constructive tool in reshaping learning. Chairperson of Qatar Foundation, Her Highness Sheikh Moza bint Nasser, urged leaders to ensure that innovation is guided by empathy, equity, and human dignity, characterized as human values, with the algorithm of technology directly. The call was further stressed by the former CEO of Google, who highlighted the positive potential in AI, pointing out that harnessing technology-driven apps will positively address present educational challenges globally.
It provides those within the teaching environment, like the teacher, so much more speed in being able to engage the students.
This is not really just an event, but it is trying to cultivate partnerships, learning ecosystems. How do we really create connectivities between different stakeholders so that our educational systems are more holistic and more comprehensive?
The message is resonating on the floor, which explains some of the key takeaways from participants' struggle. The discussion here has set an agenda to build a framework for it to serve all of humanity. From Qatar, I am Garba Muhammad Nata'ala, NTA News.
Now, the Minister of Education, Dr. Tunja Lausa, has paid a visit to the Qatar National Library, QNL, on the sidelines of the World Innovation Summit for Education, where he was received by the Qatari State Minister Hamad bin Abdul Aziz Al Kuwairi and President of QNL, as part of renewed efforts to ensure the successful completion and modernization of the Nigerian National Library headquarters in Abuja, a landmark national project that has remained unfinished for over 4 decades. The National Library project, an 11-story headquarters building first conceived in 1981, has suffered delays due to financial constraints, cost escalation, and stalled construction. However, significant progress has been recorded in recent months. In September 2025, the First Lady of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, launched an ambitious fundraising campaign that has so far raised over 25 billion naira towards the completion of the project. President Bola Tinubu has also directed the release of further government financing to ensure its completion. The visit comes at a pivotal moment, as resources have now been mobilized for the respective contractors and consultants to return to sites and commence work. During the visit, Dr. Lausa noted that the Qatari National Library stands as a global benchmark that Nigeria seeks to emulate as it works to build a state-of-the-art national library. He highlighted QNL's distinguished strengths, including advanced digital library systems and automated services, innovation stations, heritage library, digital laboratory, preservation and restoration laboratories, among others. Discussions and engagements held last week between a high-level Nigerian delegation and U.S. officials will help strengthen security partnerships between the two countries and open new avenues for cooperation to protect Nigerian citizens. The delegation, led by the National Security Advisor, Malam Nuhuribadu, met with senior officials across the U.S. Congress, the White House Faith Office, the State Department, the National Security Council, and the Department of War. In all engagements in Washington, D.C., the Nigerian delegation refuted allegations of genocide in Nigeria, emphasizing that violent attacks affect families and communities across religious and ethnic lines. The delegation strongly rejected wrongful framing of the situation, saying such would only divide Nigerians and distort the realities on ground. Following these engagements, the United States government affirmed its readiness to deepen security cooperation with Nigeria. This includes enhanced intelligence support, expedited processing of defense equipment requests, and the potential provision of excess defense articles subject to availability to reinforce ongoing operations against terrorist and violent extremist groups. The United States also expressed its willingness to extend complementary supports, including humanitarian assistance, to affected populations in the Middle Belt and technical support to strengthen early warning mechanisms. Both countries agreed to implement immediately a non-binding cooperation framework and to establish a joint working group to ensure a unified and coordinated approach to the agreed areas of cooperation. In return, the Nigerian delegation reaffirmed the government's commitment to strengthening civilian protection measures. The drive swift response to diarrheal infections and reduced deaths. The government of Japan has donated. To drive swift response to diarrheal infections and reduce deaths, the government of Japan has donated cholera response commodities to Nigeria. Elizabeth Omori reports that the donation was made through the World Health Organization and received by the Nigeria Center for Disease Control and Prevention in Abuja.
Cholera, a severe diarrheal disease that can be fatal within hours if medical attention is absent. Research shows an estimated 4 million cases and 143,000 deaths recorded every year globally. With these disturbing figures, meeting the global ambition to end cholera transmission by 2030 is one of the reasons the Japanese government is supporting Nigeria to reduce mortality and strengthen subnational coordination.
The project includes hands-on training to enhance emergency response capacity. The cholera readiness workshops already held in Abuja for the North Central region and continuing nationwide are equipping health professionals with the vital knowledge and skills to act decisively.
It enables the clinical management, so it enables the full spectrum of services which are needed to be deployed very quickly.
134 local government areas have been identified as priority areas for multi-sectoral interventions.
The donation includes cholera central kits and peripheral kits, oral rehydration points kits, IPC materials, laboratory strengthening modules, diagnostic tools, sanitation hardware, logistics support and life-saving supplies for CTC.
It is expected to improve cholera readiness at the grassroots. Elizabeth Omori, NTA News.
In a bid to collaboratively address the issue of fake news, misinformation and disinformation, the German embassy in Nigeria has expressed its interest to work closely with the Nigerian media through capacity building for factual and authentic information dissemination within the media landscape. The German ambassador to Nigeria, Annette Gunter, stated this while playing host to the Director General of Voice of Nigeria, Jibrin Babandachi, and his management team at the embassy in Abuja. Chukwunonso Nwabweze completes the report.
Since establishing diplomatic relations 65 years ago, Nigeria and Germany have continued to enjoy a cordial relationship in many areas. Amplifying the benefits of this collaboration through a strategic media synergy between the Voice of Nigeria, VON, and their German counterpart, DW, is the focus of this engagement between the management of VON and the German ambassador to Nigeria, Annette Gunter.
Nigerians who are in Germany should get authentic, truthful news, even if it's not palatable, but it should not be fake news or misinformation. And the same way, Nigerians should also get news from authentic sources about Germany, that is truthful, that is believable, and that is also not intended, in any way to create misinformation and even create some disaffection between countries.
So are very much keen to work together with media houses, radio stations, newspapers, because we also have a message to spread. We have a story to tell. So we are happy also to work with you. So whatever it may be, we should be able to provide you with the relevant information that there is.
While the reactivation of a mutually beneficial working relationship between VON and DW in the areas of training, exchange programs, as well as joint content creation was reached at this meeting, the form and manner of its implementation is expected to be finalized soon. Chukunonso Mwapweze, NTN News.
European and African leaders convened in Luanda, Angola on Monday for a two-day summit aimed at strengthening economic and security cooperation. But the ongoing conflict in Ukraine is set to overshadow much of the discussion. Justin Bemunye reports.
French President Emmanuel Macron, German Chancellor Friedrich Merz, and Kenyan President William Ruto are among the dozens of European Union and African Union leaders attending the gathering, which comes amid rising tensions between the United States and Europe over Washington's proposed plan to end Russia's war in Ukraine. While official talks with African partners will focus on trade, migration, and access to critical raw materials, EU leaders are expected to first hold urgent closed-door discussions on how to adjust a draft peace proposal put forward by US President Donald Trump. The initial version of the plan was criticized in Europe for leaning too heavily towards Moscow's demands. After US and Ukrainian officials met in Geneva on Sunday to refine the proposal, European leaders scheduled a special meeting on the sidelines of the Luanda summit to coordinate their response, EU officials confirmed. The Angola summit, the 7th EU-African Union gathering, follows last week's G20 meeting in South Africa, where a US boycott highlighted widening geopolitical divides. This year's event also marks 25 years of EU-AU relations, a partnership analysts say will require significant updating if Europe hopes to retain its position as the continent's leading political and economic ally. Justin Bemunye, NTA News.
As the world continues to navigate the complexities of the digital age, it is crucial to develop and implement strategies that will leverage digital media strengths while mitigating its weaknesses in conflict resolution scenarios. This was the message of the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, to the National Symposium on Digital Innovations in Crisis Communication. Defense correspondent Olajide Bello reports.
Emerging technologies can transform crisis communication in Nigeria by enabling faster, wider and more targeted information dissemination through platforms like social media, AI and drones. But what happens when they are weaponized to cause chaos instead of being a veritable tool? That is what the National Symposium on Digital Innovations in Crisis Communication is set to address.
Technology is both an opportunity and also a challenge. And countries like Nigeria are not just leaving the space tabula rasa. Countries are owning it and they are trying to ensure that it is used for public good.
In times of uncertainties, crisis communication serves as the nation's compass, offering direction, calming anxiety, and countering misinformation.
Therefore, we need to work as a society on how we can use it as a tool to be ahead of these bad actors.
Nigeria has developed code of conduct to checkmate activities in the global space, account deactivation method, content removal process, content reinstatement mechanism, and the proposed online harm protection bill to identify, flag and remove harmful and inciting informations. Olajide Bello, NTA News.
Experts in public health are calling for increased funding to tackle non-communicable diseases, as their growing impact has become a major concern. This was the focus at the 10th anniversary of the West Africa Institute of Public Health and the 6th induction and conference. Haman Jabani reports.
With the theme, Digital Innovation and Shared Leadership for Africa's Non-Communicable Disease Response, the conference aimed to build professional capacity and promote an enabling environment for improving health outcomes across the continent. Non-communicable diseases accounted for 34.4% of all deaths in Africa in 2021, rising from 21% in 2000, and projected to overcome communicable, maternal, nocturnal and nutrition diseases combined as the leading cause of death by 2030, as it marks the 10th year. The West Africa Institute of Public Health and its partners emphasize that economic impact of NCDS is profound, dredging household resources, weakening national productivity, and slowing long-term development.
So we need to connect this thing, this reality of these things, with what happens to our current existence. Our current existence now, we are suffering a lot of things related to climate change. And a lot of them we are bought into how we present in the healthcare facility. And if we don't face it, we're in trouble. And then the next generation of practitioners, we need to make them understand that this is what they'll be seeing.
So in line with this, we have developed strategies to address NCDs and also digital health, which we know is the future.
When government is putting the resources for social protection, let it be nutrition specific and sensitive. Let there be embedment of appropriate nutrition tracking tools that could help us to be able to be sure that government is doing enough in nutrition.
Our populations are betting on us to make good choice, to provide good advices to our political leaders, and we believe by doing so we can be more impactful and stay stronger together for a brighter future.
Addressing these diseases through preventable, early detection and stronger health system is not only a health priority, but a key economic necessity in reducing preventable deaths. Hamad Jabani, NTA News.
You're watching the news on NTA International. It's time to take a break. More stories when we return. Please stay tuned.
You have no better friend and partner than Nigeria. Let this unveiling today be a call to conscience. Let our practitioners in of truth. To the media, please inform with integrity and with a deep sense of patriotism. To our public officers, communicate with transparency. To citizens, please let us speak with empathy. Let us come together to become the voice of responsibility, the voice of the world that heals division, that inspires hope and drives development.
Thank you for staying. The Nigerian Tourism Development Authority has unveiled plans for an upcoming major cultural event tagged Niger Flavor 2025. Gloria Agbo reports that the event will feature art exhibitions, live music performances, fashion shows and theatre productions, all designed to highlight Nigeria's diverse cultural experience with Nigerian delicacies on display. Small and medium enterprises will be given a platform to showcase their creativity and products that will drive economic growth and job creation.
Launching the program, we are celebrating the flavors of our culture, the vibrancy of our creativity, and the growing power of tourism as an economic driver.
Ask me why I'm happy to be here is because in the history of this country, we have a team of people, DGs, that are willing and have the willpower to push tourism ahead of oil and gas.
We are here as partnership. Government cannot do without the private sector, and private sector cannot do without the government.
Organizers say the initiative is not only about entertainment, but also about empowering SMEs and promoting Nigeria's tourism potential. The event is expected to attract both local and international audiences, positioning Nigeria as a hub for cultural tourism. Environmental pressures, demographic shifts, transboundary movements, weak regulations and governance gaps have created a more complex risk system in the handling and management of firmest hardest conflicts. As the second quarter policy review dialogue of the network of policymakers and religious leaders to support peace, security and reconciliation in Nigeria, organized by the Institute for Peace and Conflict Resolution, stakeholders agreed that the multi-layered risk stretched the resilience of relevant institutions, hence the need for coordinated system-wide responses. Director General of the Institute, Dr. Joseph Ochogu, says since the livestock sector has become central to Nigeria's conflict dynamics, shaping social relations, economic livelihoods, and the broader national security landscape, the Institute is taking a significant step forward from understanding the implications of livestock policy to interrogating how ideas can be translated into coordinated, practical, and measurable actions. The second quarter policy review dialogue had as its theme From Policy to Practice, strengthening coordination and implementation of Nigeria's livestock policy. It is organized in partnership with the King Abdullah bin Abdulaziz International Center for Interreligious and Intercultural Dialogue.
So I think that this also serves as an opportunity between farmers and herder to join together to amplify their voice, on how we begin to reduce rural criminality and rural violence and create a cooperative and collaborative platform, for their own engagement also, for the good of their livelihoods and for the good of our society.
The NLTP, I have gone through it. Kasi, we have gone through it. Looks very good. But implementation, there are so many factors that are hindering implementation. Now, that is why we have brought in this network, religious leaders, policymakers, to now sit down. What is the problem? What is hindering the implementation of this policy?
Youths of Niger Delta extraction have appealed to relevant stakeholders to team up with President Tinubu to tackle the problem of insecurity across the country. Members of the Phase 3 Amnesty Program who expressed concerns over the negative commentaries on the security situation said Nigeria can only defeat the common enemy if the people work together as a team. The youths who also raised concerns about the activities of some Niger Delta residents planning protests against the Amnesty Office said the current situation does not call for any such move and urged them to shield their swords and address issues with the Amnesty Office through dialogue. They appeal to security agencies to ensure that pipelines in the region are properly secured to avert any attempt of sabotage by those who don't mean well for the country.
We put aside tribal, religion, and ethnic sentiment to come together as a people, to come together as one Nigeria to fight our common enemy, whom are the bandits and the terrorists. This is not time to say, I am a Christian, I am a Muslim, I am a pagan, or this and that. This is the time Nigeria need to come together and support Mr. President. Because there is a saying that united we stand and divided we fall.
To politics now, former Vice President Atiku Abubakar has declared that he is returning as a strong and credible opposition to the governing All Progressives Congress APC with a view to salvaging Nigeria and to restore hope to its citizens. Atiku disclosed this during his membership registration with the African Democratic Congress ADC in Jada, local government area of Adamawa State, his hometown. The registration officially confirms Atiku as a card-carrying member of the ADC, bringing an end to speculations and controversies surrounding his political affiliation.
There is any political party that is not rancor-free, because rancor is part of democratic processes. So let's put that one aside. And having said that, I believe we are in a legally, constitutionally recognized, political platform. No doubt about that. And what has happened also to PDP is something that I had predicted, and it has come to pass. It requires experience and intellect, to be able to get these things right. Those who are sitting on the fence don't belong to anywhere. But I believe those who are committed to true democracy, good governance, prosperous economy, security, will definitely give it to the ADC.
Jimmy Cliff, the pioneering Jamaican singer, songwriter and actor who helped carry reggae from the island sound systems to the world stage, died on Monday. His wife, Latifah Chambers, announced the news stating that Jimmy Cliff has crossed over due to seizure followed by pneumonia. Born on July 30, 1944 in rural Somerton, St. James Parish, Cliff began writing songs as a schoolboy inspired by local sound systems. At 14, he moved to Kingston, adopted the stage name Jimmy Cliff, and soon signed with Island Records. In 1965, he relocated to London, where he became one of the first Jamaican artists to gain an international following. His starring role in the 1972 cult classic film The Harder They Come and its groundbreaking soundtrack introduced reggae to global audiences and laid crucial groundwork for Bob Marley's later worldwide success. Tracks such as the title song, The Harder They Come, Many Rivers to Cross, and Sitting in Limbo remain reggae standards. Cliff's career spanned 6 decades and showcased remarkable versatility, blending reggae with soul, R&B, and pop. Up next is Tuesday's weather forecast for Nigerian cities and some other cities of the world. And that brings us to the end of the news. We thank you for watching. I'm Lami Ali. Bamidele John was the sign language interpreter. Do have a good evening.